Morbid facts. In 1990, Florida woman Marlene Warren opened her front door to a clown holding flowers and balloons. After handing Marlene the gifts, the clown suddenly pulled out a gun and shot the woman in the face in front of her son. The case went cold for the next 27 years until a hair found in the evidence was traced to a woman living in Tennessee who was running a restaurant with the victim's ex-husband. Apparently the two were having an affair months before the murder and eventually got married themselves when it seemed like they were in the clear. This photo shows Muhammad al-Maghradi begging for his life just moments before he was publicly executed with an AK-47. The man was convicted of raping and killing a 3-year-old girl, prompting a harsh response from the court. The execution drew a crowd of thousands of onlookers, some perched up on telephone poles or watching from rooftops. The victim's father said that he smiled and was filled with relief and satisfaction as the killer was pumped full of bullets. After Martin Luther King Jr. was killed in 1968, his funeral was held at Morehouse College in Atlanta. A small group of current students were chosen to be ushers for his funeral, and one of them was Samuel L. Jackson. In 1976, Troy Leon Gregg was sentenced to death for murdering 3 men in Georgia. On the night before his execution, he managed to escape only to be killed in a bar fight that same night. Speaking of execution, in 1915, Mexican man Wenceslao Moguel was sentenced to death and shot 9 times by a firing squad. But he miraculously managed to survive every shot, including the coup de grace, a final shot to the head at point-blank range to ensure death. He went on to live for another 70 years, finally dying in 1976. In 2004, grandmother Dorothy Fletcher suddenly suffered a heart attack while on her flight to Florida. When the stewardess asked if there was a doctor on board, 15 people stood up. It was a group of doctors on their way to a cardiology conference. Real skeletons were used while filming the first Poltergeist because it was cheaper than making prop ones at the time. The woman who acted in this creepy scene wasn't told they were real until after the shooting was finished. Many people believe that using these real skeletons caused the set to become cursed. For example, while filming the creepy clown doll scene, the doll nearly killed Robbie Freeling when an animatronic error caused his arm to quickly tighten around the boy's neck. When the young actor started gesturing that he couldn't breathe, Steven Spielberg thought it was just really good acting. While his life was spared, multiple actors from the movie series weren't so lucky. Dominique Dunne, who played the older sister in the first film, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend right after the movie premiered. In 1988, the little girl who played Carol Ann died of cardiac arrest at the young age of 12. The actor who played the evil preacher in Poltergeist 2 died of stomach cancer just after they finished filming. And the actor who played the Native American shaman died soon afterwards during a heart-lung transplant. In 1990, rock and roll pioneer Chuck Berry bought a restaurant in Missouri that didn't go very well for him. Shortly after opening, he was sued by several women who claimed he installed a video camera in the ladies' bathroom. Berry opted for a class action settlement with 59 women that cost him over $1.2 million. He claimed he set up the camera to catch a worker he suspected was stealing from his restaurant. But when police raided his home, they found several videotapes of women using the bathroom, and at least one of them was a minor. During the SARS outbreak in 2004, a Taiwanese woman made a bold attempt to protect herself from the virus. She bathed in a tub filled with 40% alcohol, hoping this would kill any of the potential germs on her body. She laid down in the fluid at 11 p.m. and was discovered dead by her family the next morning. An autopsy revealed that her blood alcohol level was 1.35%, meaning she absorbed a significant amount of alcohol through her skin. A British Marine had a leg tattoo of Liverpool's motto, "You'll never walk alone." But after a major injury in Afghanistan, his leg was amputated, and the surgeon had to cut the tattoo so it now read, "You'll never walk." Author Lois Duncan wrote many popular crime and suspense novels throughout the 70s and 80s, but she essentially stopped writing completely when her own daughter became the victim of an unsolved murder case in 1989. In 1950, a church in Nebraska exploded 5 minutes after choir practice was supposed to start. But miraculously, all 15 members of the choir were late that day for different reasons, and not a single person was hurt. In 1977, the University of Evansville men's basketball team was involved in a tragic plane crash. The crash killed everyone on the team except for one young man who didn't make the trip due to an injury. But just 2 weeks after the crash, the only surviving player, 18-year-old statistician David Furr, was killed by a drunk driver. After filming Psycho, actress Janet Leigh was so terrified of showers that she only took baths for 35 straight years. On the extremely rare occasion that she did take a shower, she made sure that every door in the house was locked and left the shower curtain open. While filming for Resident Evil 5, there was an accident on set that left 16 people injured. Their zombie costumes were so gory that first responders on the scene had a very difficult time assessing the injuries. The woman who voiced the demon Pazuzu in the original Exorcist had a son who murdered his whole family before turning the gun on himself. He did all of this while wearing a Freddy Krueger mask. Speaking of the Exorcist, one of the actors in the film went on to become an actual serial killer. Paul Bateson, who plays a nurse in the film, eventually confessed to the killing and dismembering of 6 gay men throughout the 1970s. But he was released on parole in 2004 after serving only 5 years in prison. In 2011, 6-year-old Illinois boy Timothy Pitson was taken out of school by his mother to go on a trip. She then ended her life and left a note saying Timothy is safe at the hands of someone trustworthy and would never be found. The boy hasn't been seen since, as here's an updated age progression image of what he may look like now. The Vietnamese version of Cinderella is much darker than the family-friendly version we know and love. In the end, Cinderella boils her stepsister to death, turns what remains of her into a sauce, and sends it to her stepmother to eat. She enjoys the sauce so much that she eats it all until she finds the skull of her dead daughter and dies from shock. In 2015, a 46-year-old woman accidentally took 55 milligrams of pure LSD, equal to a staggering 550 times the typical dosage. She apparently blacked out for the first 12 hours and felt pleasantly high for the second 12. The next day, her lifelong foot pain had ceased, which helped her kick her morphine addiction. This is the harrowing skull of a man with Proteus syndrome, a rare and awful condition characterized by the overgrowth of skin, organs, tissues, and bones. Nikola Tesla originally expected to live to the age of 150, but later lowered this estimate to 135 years when he was forced to give up alcohol due to prohibition. He thought that consuming alcohol was good for the body and was a heavy drinker as a result. Tesla ended up dying at the age of 86. When revolutionary hero Guy Fawkes was convicted of high treason in 1605, his punishment was to be hanged, drawn, and quartered, meaning he would be hanged almost to the point of death, have his intestines and sex organs removed while still alive, decapitated, and have his limbs torn off. After the sentencing, Fawkes said "fuck that" and leapt from the gallows so that the rope broke his neck and killed him immediately. The drawing and quartering was still performed on his corpse, and his body parts were paraded around London. Nicknamed Chad, this absolute unit of a house cat suffers from myostatin-related hypertrophy, an extremely rare condition that causes muscles to grow excessively large. Its owner says he always makes sure the cat is well fed and taken care of to avoid any possible beef. This baby crocodile was born with an unusual mutation that gave it the tail of a mermaid. A fisherman in Maine found this translucent lobster. Scientists say the odds of this happening are about 1 in 100 million. This record-breaking 10-inch long tadpole found in an Arizona swamp never evolved into a bullfrog. Nicknamed Goliath, experts say it's most likely due to a hormonal mutation that'll prevent it from metamorphosizing until death. This octopus with 85 tentacles was found near Japan in 1957. Once thought to be a separate subspecies, the king cheetah is an African cheetah with a rare mutation of the fur. Discovered in 1926, this badass freak of nature has only been seen in the wild 6 times. In 1998, SNL star and renowned voice actor Phil Hartman was shockingly killed in his sleep by his wife Brynn. She then showed her friend the body, locked herself in a bathroom, and turned the gun on herself. Futurama's Philip J. Fry was named in honor of Phil Hartman, who was supposed to be the voice of Zapp Brannigan before he died. About 50% of panda births result in twins, but panda moms always focus on raising their strongest cub while letting the other ones starve to death. Therefore, zookeepers have to switch the cubs every few hours to trick the mom into caring for both. In 2019, a horrific bungee cord accident caused this Taiwanese man's iris to completely collapse. The father of physics, Max Planck, lived a life that was filled with tragedy. His wife died young, his oldest son died in World War I, his 2 twin daughters both died while giving birth, and his second son was executed by Nazi Germany because of a failed assassination attempt on Hitler. In 2023, 92-year-old dementia patient Tom McDonald poured washing detergent over his bowl of cereal thinking it was milk. After eating most of the bowl, he told his daughter he wasn't feeling well and was soon rushed to the hospital, where he later died from acute toxicity. While 33-year-old actress Carole Lombard was on a war bond tour in 1942, she won a coin toss that determined she and her group would return home by plane instead of by train. Tragically, their flight would end up crashing into a mountain near Las Vegas, killing all 22 passengers on board, including 15 U.S. Army soldiers. 28-year-old Caitlin Jensen's life was changed forever after just a routine visit to the chiropractor. She went to have her neck adjusted for stiffness, during which 4 arteries in Caitlin's neck were accidentally dissected, resulting in a horrible stroke. She was reportedly without a pulse for 10 minutes until she could be revived by doctors. Caitlin was left with nearly full body paralysis, only capable of blinking her eyes and moving her left thumb. After the divorce of his parents, Jack Black got mixed in with the wrong crowd and became severely addicted to cocaine at the young age of 14. It got so bad that he would steal money from his mom to fuel his addiction, but was eventually able to kick the habit after switching schools. Jack also lost his gay older brother Howard to AIDS at the height of the epidemic in 1989. In 2009, an Italian brain surgeon was having a heart attack in the middle of performing a delicate operation. But instead of getting treatment, he powered through the surgery upon realizing that his patient may have died if he stopped, and both made a full recovery. In 2009, U.S. Marine Brian Dennis was stationed in Iraq when he met a stray desert dog named Nubs. After someone brutally stabbed the dog with a screwdriver, the Marine nursed him back to health despite expecting him to die. They developed such a strong bond that when the unit left, Nubs picked up Brian's scent and trekked 70 miles through an active desert war zone to be with him. Dennis soon shipped the dog to his home in San Diego, and the two have been best friends ever since. These are some of the most horrific drawings made by survivors of the Hiroshima nuclear blast. This picture shows a horde of people who had turned red like demons trying to cool their burns off in a tub of water, not realizing that the water was extremely hot from the blast and would end up boiling them alive. This drawing is pure nightmare fuel. There were many accounts of zombie-like people who limped for miles begging for water, while their melted skin was drooping down from their bodies. This picture depicts a pile of victims who jumped into a river to cool off after being badly burned by the blast. Tragically, most ended up drowning in the boiling hot water due to a lack of strength, and from the pain of their skin literally being peeled off by the current. The 16-year-old artist of this one wrote, "The body was so deeply charred that the gender was unrecognizable, yet the person was still weakly writhing in pain. I had to avert my eyes from the unbearable sight, but it entrenched itself in my memory for the rest of my life." Shelley Duvall said the amount of emotional trauma from filming The Shining was unbearable and excruciating. She was genuinely terrified while on set and often pulled clumps of her hair out in between takes. Due to the stress and torment that director Stanley Kubrick put her through, Shelley had a complete mental breakdown after the movie was filmed. The set of Texas Chainsaw Massacre was filled with 500 pounds of rotting animal corpses. The stench mixed with the heat caused actors to vomit constantly. The director said that by the last few days of filming, every time he yelled cut, the actors and crew would immediately puke. A group of psychologists studied 400 movies to find the most realistic psychopath, and the winner was Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. They said that he seems to be effectively invulnerable and resistant to any form of humanity or emotion. Popular characters Hannibal Lecter and Patrick Bateman didn't even make it in the top 25. Diddy's former dancer Adria English has spilled some serious tea about the notorious rapper, and the details are beyond disturbing. English was a go-go dancer for Diddy and was stationed at certain checkpoints at his freak-off parties. She claims she was used by Diddy to help set people up for blackmail. Here are her most disturbing claims from a recent interview, which get worse as the list goes on. And to be very clear, these are all just allegations that haven't yet been confirmed. Diddy refused to let a young dancer use the bathroom during one of his parties, so she just went number 2 on stage. Guest Denzel Washington watched this happen and stormed out of the party in pure disgust. Diddy once had a threesome with rapper Nelly and an unnamed underage girl. In the leaked photos of Diddy eating fruit off of a woman, she was actually 14 years old. An underage girl Diddy sexually abused had 2 of his children, and he helped deliver the babies at his own residence. At one party, Diddy made J-Lo stick a bottle in the private area of an 11-year-old girl. Diddy's 2 sons, Justin and Christian Combs, ran a train on Justin Bieber while he was tied down and sobbing. A young girl who witnessed this happening is part of the lawsuit against Diddy. The rapper apparently slapped her when she tried to loosen the straps on Bieber. And lastly, English herself says she was on one of the Diddy tapes as an underage girl being sexually abused by a former president. English has hinted that she'll be one of the witnesses to testify against Diddy in his upcoming trial.